All right, real quick on the marijuana gateway drug. The drug is the dragon, and the gateway is for the new heaven and earth. The Mary is for that prime Mary, that Joe is with Mary, taking her to that inn. And as Juan is the sign of his coming, because Juan is John, so John the sign of his coming, and we are in that mid-deal time frame because we were under dawn, and the dawn is that morning star, that sun that rose, and as the woman was covered in the sun from 2017 to now, that marked a 7-year anniversary. And then the dawn said the storm was coming 7 years ago, and on 10/5 that marked the 7 years of that. So between now and then, Kamala is the moon, and the lotus, and he lost to her, and he started losing his light then. And then dark maga came, those storm clouds came per se, and the dark maga is that dark knight, that vigilante who's for and against and such on those police and those pole positions for those debates, because they're going to be fishing with poles versus the nets, and the net is coming and they haven't cast their net to the right side, and all these other little things that they're being taught as this cartoon or whatever, or real life. This image has been given life to sear them to where they can't think about it in another way. Okay, so dawn is risen, he's going behind the clouds, and then you have John the sign of his coming, and then you have the trump for the last trump, and you've already heard the trumpet sound in 2016, 2017, 2020, these types of time frames. The corona crown was given, the Christmas star was shown to show you that the Messiah has been born and it's coming. So these things are all here to show you the time. And let's get into this, because the marijuana gateway into the new heaven and earth, let's get into the existing, the existing, the XI. The XI is that 6 on the back, or the SIX on the back side, and the existing. The X and the cis for the Moses, for the Red Sea divide, the Red Sea divide, and this is part of that seeding, for that cloud seeding, for the wheat at her control, okay, the weather control. So, and this is part of that stings of men that go upon the earth for 5 or 6 months or whatever, that have the ability to hurt man but not kill him or whatever. So the ray search and the sea urch, and then the C for the C-section. Anal lysis. The anal lysis is for like that new AIDS or whatever kind of thing, or like the AIDS you can get from touching, or like mosquito AIDS or whatever kind of thing going on, right? But these things are kind of setting the stage for the wild times, okay? That wild Wee Street, the Wild West, and the either way. So the relevant, the relevations, the real, and the leave, and the leave eve. The eve is the EV for the evil. The evil is the EVIL. The IL is the an uppercase, lowercase, or the twin towers. They look the same, but they're not the same. And then they come down together. That could be part of that paradise rolls. So to the gateway, to the high pot, the cis. And this is where Kamala is coming, saying should be locked up for smoking weed, but you can't grow it. You can be locked up for growing it, but you can't for not smoking it. We can see like a double negative, or whatever, positive negative coming on, or whatever they do. But they just tell like some half-ass shit or whatever. That's where they like, so supposedly they legalize weed in California, but you can only get it here and there or whatever. Okay? So it's the same bullshit everywhere, where you can get it, but you can't smoke it anywhere. Or it's all retarded, dude. Okay? I mean, it's set up to where you can use it, but you're a damn criminal if you can buy it and you can use it in your closet, but if you use it anywhere else, you're effing criminal. It's retarded. Ray Tard did. Idiocracy is before us all. And the script you, Ray, tarded, scripture, world stage. Anyways, hypothesis has the produced. The pro is tied to the prophet. The prop fit. The false prophet. The false prophet. Okay? She's been given her power by the dragon. We're in that wood dragon year now. Got the serpent next year coming. Got Monkey Man coming soon after these things all align. I got to do a video on those. I forgot to do a video on that one. I don't know. I probably said it like a year ago, but either way. We'll get them all out eventually. If y'all knew everything going on in this head, I wish I could get it all out, but either way, mixed up mess results that no cash, you will, link. The no cash link. All right. So the no cash link, the crapture, the hive, the HIV, all these things are going to be playing a role. Okay. And mind over matter. So the 20% that controls this world stage, controls the 80% of the population, controls the 80% of the mind. If the mind believes it, the body's going to project it. So this is where the extras have already been set up. The cannabis use. Oh, missed this one. 2018, the 18 for the turning of age and such, for the 18 and up, and then the 18 also connects us to the 128, the 128 peace deal that's Trump signed in 2020 that everybody seems to overlook or miss or whatever. Like their pastor didn't preach about it, then it's not the peace deal. Okay? So this is where they're just left behind. 23 peer-reviewed studies. The 23 connects to the 2023 that cracked open some things and taking us to the 23 of 9/11, and that 23 of 9/11 opened now and overlaps with the 22 for the catch-22, catch chess. All right, so the kings, for the king size, mean all that shit's about to be laid down on the board, and the board is that wood for the wood dragon. Well, I would, those kinds of things as well, but I'm about to lose your legs. As you lose your legs, that's the carpenter coming for Joseph, and that Mary who is primed for that bleeding birth. Yeah, bad stuff is coming, bad. Anyways, that was from the National Institute of Justice. And well, it tells you Jesus is justice in the Bible. So the Bible and the Biden is before you, and the bell ding-a-ding-a-ding, and the trial is going before you. And the T-rib, that trib, has been before you, and you've all eaten it. Well, how much is a rib? How much for a rib? As Chris Rock is smacked across the face. Okay. Anyways, the alterations in the brain are going to be needed because cannabis makes you smart. Okay. Now, if you use certain psychotropic drugs and such, all right, it does have a tendency to make you stupid. All right. And you have to be taught how to use cannabis as well. You have to be taught how to go into that high place, not the so-called low place. All right. And there's different things associated with this, but basically everybody has brain trauma from that thing going on, and it's going to be literal brain trauma with tics and autism and whatever else. What they did was they told you about autism and the links in these things with Jenny McCarthy, who showed her boobies and was a blonde, and they made all these blonde jokes in the 80s and 90s and shit, so you wouldn't listen to the blondes. And then they gave you Jim Carrey, which was this obviously can't know what he's talking about because he makes me laugh and all this other shit or whatever, right? So this is where they give you George Carlin and Lewis Black. All these people are the spirits working through these people to tell you the truth through comedy, and it works as a twofold system. It can either give you light or dark, okay? But you got to be in the middle where you got to see like what's going on here. Where am I living? Either way, guys, the alterations in the brain, that takes you to the Taylor. Taylor Swift is right now, and then the Taylor is the T for the Trump, for that last Trump card. And the last Trump card has that rump in it, and that rump ties us to the Uranus, and the Uranus is when time gets flipped upside down, and then that time is now when it's passed through its closest time, 2024, and then it goes back out, and it goes back to 2025, goes back again, and you got Pluto overlapping and all these other things, okay? So Pluto is for that heel, for those rains and those types of things. That's also the god of Hades, and Hades is hate is love, love is hate. So this is where kind of things divide, and either way, it's a time of revelation, revolution, change, and this is where we're going from one age to another age, and they won't be back to however many 100 years or whatever, but this is where we can start seeing all these things are kind of opening up, where we can see where, and with history and everything being taught and shown, where we can see stacks of time and the so-called periodic table being developed, where we saw hydrogen, first one, then helium, and then it stacks together and creates different ages of how we are beings, where we're going from a light being or the air or whatever, and coming down and forming into this, and we're this liquid metal machine. We're forming a machine that looks like this, where we can maybe transfer our light, but that's just transferring our light is just playing a joystick or connecting it and teaching it to do what we want it to do, so we can always do all this whatever kind of thing. But that's where the light is exchanging, and then once we do all this, then we can go into a time of rest while this does this, and as it goes into a time of rest, we reset our body, because if we don't use this, that, or the other, the body will do whatever, and then once we start, this takes time or whatever, but this is just like, either way, folks, not to get off on rabbit trails, but this is just kind of where we're going, how we can see things, because it tells us things are declared beginning from the end. This is where Jesus is calling them out on their own Bible. Like, y'all don't even believe what your own book teaches. Okay? Your book teaches that you're gods, but you don't believe that you're gods. You can create your... It's where they just have to be... And they're here to be built back up for the next 20 years while Pluto's here. Hades, hell's here. In the carnal, it's on stage, and like, what the is going on? And that's just when they have to realize that all their life is a lie, and they're here in the so-called rapture, the new heaven and earth, and they're trying to get to that 10 spot, but that's about to be dumped back on top of them. Okay, so there's a board. Well, that's a whole nother bit. Well, we're just gonna end it.